Lynn?
Ann.
Okay. My name's Colleen. Just like you, I weigh and measure my food at the gray sheet. I committed to a sponsor. I do not eat in between. Abstinence is the most important thing in my life without exception. My abstinence date is February 18th, 2002.
Hi, Colleen.
Hi. So, I was thinking about it, and you know what? I didn't even know I had a problem. I mean, food was my drug. I grew up in this really crazy family, and I just wanted to numb out. I did not want to feel. And it took me a long time. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I went to Nana's house, and the brown boxes with all the strings on top of the fridge, and we would just eat everything. And there was always food at my grandmother's house, but not food at our house. And, it was just this craziness about food. And my top weight was 190. And my sister worked for this doctor, and I went to him, he gave me diet pills, and I didn't understand. Personally, I don't like that word diet, because diet is only temporary. Diet, it doesn't it's only temporary. I need something to help me with my life on a day-to-day basis, but of course I didn't know that. So I went to this doctor, and he gave me, I got Crossroads and I got Tenuate. And I lost weight, but then I gained it back. And when I was 14, I discovered bulimia. I don't know how I did it, but I discovered bulimia. I wonder if this person wants to come in. Anyways, and I was off to the races. And my sister was so mad at me because I would eat stuff and then get rid of it. Also, I was a night eater, and I would beg my sister to tie me in bed at night with the restraints so I wouldn't get up and eat, because I would get up in the morning and food would be all over the kitchen. My mom would scream at me. She'd be so mad at me, and I was so powerless over the food. And I had 30 years of journals. God, please help me be skinny so guys will love me. It was like I just wanted to be thin, and I didn't realize that I had a spiritual malady, and my spiritual malady showed up in one of the ways was food. And so I think I went to regular OA when I was 16 years old. I'm from Rhode Island, and you know what? I guess you got to go to where you got to go to get to where you're supposed to be. And it was kind of like you could eat what you wanted. Well, that didn't work for me. First of all, when you grow up in chaos, I realized I have to say this. One thing that I always loved about going to Angela's house, she had this thing from 7 in the morning till such and such at night, and that the kids had, there was this structure, and all I ever wanted was structure. I never knew what to do. My mom used to say, "You're on your own." That meant you're screwed. That's what that meant. You're screwed. And I didn't know what to do, and I really felt lost and aimless all my life. So I went to regular OA, and it was always controlling, and I got my anorexia. I am a control maniac, and I got my anorexia and my restricting. I did get down to 110 pounds, and I would take laxatives, and I would take diuretics. One time I remember passing out on the front lawn of my Nana's house, and I remember I had this skin-tight black dress on, these beautiful, I looked beautiful, and I went to go see this psychiatrist, and I told her I want to kill myself, because I didn't know that I had such a spiritual malady. And she said, "Look at you, you're so beautiful." She did not get it about the restricting and the anorexia. And I left her office, and if I had a gun, I would have blown my brains out. But I didn't know. I just didn't know. When I was 23 years old, I moved to California. I started going to CEO How, and it worked, but I would lie. I would eat like 20 packs of chiclets and say that I was abstinent, and I just kept trying to control and manage it, and I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know a lot of things. I grew up in this crazy house, and you just try to get through the day without getting beat up. I didn't know anything. Anyways, so I ran into someone and they told me about Grace Street, and I said, oh, there were meetings in the valley, in the back of a restaurant in Burbank or something. I don't even remember, but I went to those meetings and I said to this person, will you be my sponsor? She said, I can't because I don't have 3 months. So I just kept going and I just kept going and I couldn't get it and I couldn't get it. I'd go to people's houses. I remember being at Linda's house one New Year's, crying my eyes out, feeling like such a failure and shameful because I couldn't get it. Hey, but newsflash, if you're not in the rooms, it ain't gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. I just kept coming. I think I came for 10 years. And I just said, I'm not gonna give up. I am not gonna give up. And then I remember on February 14th, 2002, it was Valentine's Day, I was in front of the hospital. I don't know, I was out, I was on a bender with some big carbohydrates. And I smashed into this girl's car in front of me. And then 4 days later, February 18th, I was in therapy. And my father died that day. The number 1 and 3 kept coming up. And sometimes I have these like psychic things that happen to me. I said, oh, he's going to die between 1 and 3, and he died at 1:30. I did not know that was the day I was going to get absent. So it's really weird that my absence date is February 18th, 2002. You know, we just don't know. I mean, all I know is that if I didn't put the food down, I wouldn't have clarity. I mean, I have a hard time figuring things out on a good day, okay? And it's over 17 years. And you know what? If I didn't put the food down, I wouldn't have the clarity about other things. I mean, I don't always have good behavior. I mean, I'm not perfect, but you know, we're all on the road. And I think that for me, I have many addictions because I have a spiritual malady. I put the food down and then I get to work on the other things in my life. And all I know is that I have to be a powerful example. I mean, somebody rewarded the nurses with this white box that says C's. Oh my God. They're like, come on, have one. I'm like, you have no idea who you're dealing with here. And, you know, I said, that would be going to 30 seconds flat. They're like, no. I'm like, oh yeah. And, you know, I didn't know, you know, God bless us for being here. I worked in that eating disorder unit at UCLA, and those poor girls, what would they were forced to eat. All the stuff that we don't eat, like I felt it was so bad for them, and I had to check their calories. I hate that crap. And it's just, it really didn't address their spiritual malady, and that's what we have is a spiritual malady. And for me, I wanted to drug myself up, and you know, I just kept coming. And I think the first 2 or 3 years, I was terrified it was the most important thing in my life. When I first got absent, I remember being at work, and I remember the woman's name. I called her up, I said, it's 7 o'clock. I didn't need any sugar. I'm gonna call you back at 11. And I was doing procedures and IR. I was doing all this stuff. 11 o'clock, okay, 11 o'clock, I didn't need any sugar. I'm calling you back in 3 hours. And that's how I got through my days. And I went to, I was really ballsy, boy. I didn't care. I just brought all my food with me. I had 1 suitcase of the food and 1 suitcase of the clothes. And I went to roundups in New York. My sister lived in Manhattan, so my little sister, and I would go there. I went to her. I did anything to save my abstinence. And I carried my food all around New York with me because I was so terrified to lose it. I mean, it was by far the most important thing in my life. And I got one of those sealing machines. I just brought everything with me. I was so neurotic. But you know what? I had to. I was so afraid. And, you know, I made my phone calls. I did my stuff. And I just kept doing it. And, you know, I won't go places. I won't do things unless I check it out about the food. I'm too afraid. Like, I really want to go to Africa, but I have to do the research about it. I did get to go to Hong Kong. I brought 5 meals on the plane with me. I had a piece of paper that told me what time it was in America and what time it was here, and I checked off what time it was to eat. I was so afraid. And then before I got there, I made sure there was a market across the street, and I did plan, prepare, protect, always. And I never count on anybody else taking care of me. Yesterday, I met some of my friends for lunch, and I forgot my scale. And thank God I said, kept a scale, got like a couple of scales in the trunk, and then I had this other one I really like in my back seat. And then I had my measuring spoon in my purse. And it's like, we always have, I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always cooking my vegetables. I was at Smart and Fun this morning at 6 a.m. getting my stuff. And you know what? I think that's nurturing for me. That's self-care. I mean, we weren't taught to take care of you. We were told that we were selfish girls if we took care of ourselves. And I think this is the best way that we take care of ourselves. And you know what? I remember going to this therapist one time, because I went to this one lady and she was overweight, and I said, you know what? You can't help you. You can't help me. And she was really mad at me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel. And I think that people don't understand compulsive overeating unless, I think we're lucky that we understand it. I mean, they just don't get it. And I need to put the substance down. Like, someone I work with that I've been trying to help, she told me she hasn't been eating sugar, but then she told me what she is eating. I'm not even going there. I can't. I just can't. I'm not going to argue. I just say, good for you. Good for you. And it is a chemical response that happens to us. When we put that stuff in our body, we want more. We can't help it. We just can't help it. But I just had a little. I'm like, a little's too much. It's too much. And people, I just have to keep my mouth shut and be a power of example. And, I'm a smart girl, but I'm kind of stupid sometimes. And I didn't know that my bulimia, I would have chest pain. I had princemetal angina because of my bulimia. I had to have a cardiac cath done. It doesn't matter that I was a nurse, I didn't realize that I had this electrolyte imbalance. And I had this chest pain. It was from my bulimia. And I was just, I'm not bad trying to get good. I'm sick trying to get well. And, food takes us to places that we don't want to go. And, I took care of someone recently, and then I saw her again 2 weeks later. I'm just getting ready to go into the OR for gastric bypass. And it's like, she thinks she's jumping into skinny land. And, I felt so bad. And she just wants to hurry up and know when she can go exercise again. And, not eating the carbs is so much easier than, I exercise, but I can't do that stuff anymore. I love my food. I love it. I love my air fryer. Yes, I love my air fryer. And I just, there's so much stuff that we get to eat. And, I eat stuff that I love. I really eat stuff that I love because that's how I nurture that wounded kid inside. I take care of me. And when I get to work with my food, okay, I got to put the food down so I can work on the steps. I know for sure I'm powerless over food and my life is unmanageable. But unless I do that, I can't believe that a power greater than myself can restore me to sanity. Because, man, I am insane when I'm eating. And, I have a few other issues that I'm insane about too. But unless I put the food down for me, because food is like alcohol to me. I am drunk and I don't care about anything or anyone. And all I know is that when I weigh and measure my food, it gives me a freedom. It's beyond your wildest dreams. Weighing and measuring. And it's not just about being thin. It's about, I'm on my side today. I get to do what is best for me. Recently we just went to Hawaii. I spent $700 on luggage. I don't care. I brought my stuff with me. And, I just plan, prepare, protect. And, if you're struggling, don't give up. The miracle will happen. I guarantee you it will happen. And it takes me an hour to get home from work. So I leave work at like 6, and so I listen to the phone meetings. And we're just, thank you, God. I can't hear the message enough because I'm a slow learner and I'm a fast forgetter. And, I just do what I do, and I don't really care if people don't like it. Our youngest sister, when we go to her house, they say, oh my God, the tornadoes are here, because we're like running around doing our food, but that's what I do to protect myself, and it's so much easier for me. Anyways, I'm really grateful that I do what we all do, and if you're struggling, just keep hanging around. It will get you. And it's not a moral issue. It is not a moral issue. And that's all I got, kids. Thank you.
Thank you.